Hey Cactus crew, how you going? Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Bill. Welcome. Welcome to a CB live. Hopefully I'll be in the chat. So come on in, have a chin wag. But replay crew, I'll talk to you in the comments. Make sure you check out the description box because that's where all the timestamps are. And also there's a bunch of links down there that I'll also share in a pinned comment after the live. And those are the links that will back up what I say. But also I have a background in psych and behavioral science and an obsession with body language, which has kept me around really on this carousel from hell. Because if I had to listen to Katie, I don't know how I would have got through. But yeah, I'll have captions up and everything. So if you're in the same boat, we can just focus on the captions. But yeah, this is part 2 of Katie's follow-up that she did after her story time where she told her story. So part 1 and her story is linked at the top of the description, so you can go there before this, so everything flows, hopefully. Although I never go live on Tuesdays, but I was feeling good, so I went live. Thank God, because we would never have got through it. And the ending is always the best. Just a reminder that I upload CB shorts daily on my channel. Go check them out because it's really becoming something quite on itself. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and X at It's Crystal Bill. Just a reminder, everything is my own opinion, with my own mind, seen with my own eyes. You know how that goes, Katie? I don't know if you know how that goes because you don't really wait until a thought processes, I've noticed. Anyway, let's just get into it. I'll see you on the other side. We are here to witness the lies. Yes, this is 2024 eyes, by the way. Oh, not by the way, you know, we are all in 2024, some of us. But what we're watching tonight is September 8th, 2020. So, yeah, now we know the full-blown, well, Katie's cards are all out on the table for us to see. And, yeah, come on, 7am. It's the longest wait ever. Hey, Cactus crew in chat. Hey, guys going? SD, Goose, Cactus High Five, Marcy. Sorry, your name always I have to stop to read, and then I love it, and then I want to agree, and then I want to tell everyone how much I love your name, but yeah. And yeah, Will, how you going? Okay, guys, so yeah, this is part 2. In part 1, what did we learn? In part 1, she blasted the names of the businesses and also of the alleged perp, but we all know that it never went anywhere because the evidence didn't match Katie's claims, you know, the report. So her story time, she got more angry at the detective than she really was at, I just call him, you know, and then her chat started calling her out, and they were the members of her channel, Franny. So even they couldn't keep quiet. They were risking their membership to let her know that, hey, this is not rational. Maybe you should stop drinking, which she does a lot of during this. Yellow can beer. I don't know what it is. I used to know. She has a shirt, but it's definitely not White Claw. And then she declared the famous line that she always does. I mean, gosh, I'm surprised these guys didn't sue her, but the emotional toll is not worth it, you know? Plus, you need the money, I guess. But yeah, she said, I have all the proof. He'd be an idiot to sue me. Says the idiot who's online blasting all this stuff because what? She's got a platform now and acting irresponsible with that platform. Karma, I feel, is starting to trickle in. And, well, this is part of it, Katie. This is part of your karma. because we are letting you know. Well, you guys are in on it, right? When I say we, am I allowed to say we? I'm saying we because I'm not the only one. Katie, we don't believe you. Okay, so stop lying. I don't know if you can even stop lying because you've lied to yourself your whole life. Like every single thing about you is a lie. That is sad. No one is jealous of you, by the way. You know, if you want to send your minions over here to let us know, you're just jealous of Katie. Fuck off. You'd have to know who I am to, even form that comparison. Katie would be jealous of my life. Yeah. But, my life comes with hard work, which Katie doesn't seem to do or put in ever. Okay, so we're just going to press play. We made it. Did we make it halfway? No, but we are going to make it to the end tonight. Let's put captions on because we ain't got no ears for you, Katie.
Because he said he had been driving people around, but he didn't have a limo. It was really weird. He had his, his Denali or Yukon, whatever it was he was driving. He did not have his limo. It was the weirdest thing. And it was like, it's the most bizarre thing. I know. I still can't get the red record button off. So he wasn't really doing any drinking. That was the thing. Because he met outside of that place. We went over to my friend Seisha's house. We got to my friend Seisha's house. My friends ordered pizza from Pizza Luce. And then people started making drinks. I remember somebody made me a drink, but I wasn't really wanting anything because I had been drinking beer that night. And they were making me like a vodka cranberry. And I just wasn't into that at all. And I got really tired. They ordered 4 pizzas. I mean, the fact that I can remember that, I can remember sitting in Seisha's kitchen and my friend Stephanie was there. My friend Paul was there. Seisha was there. Nikki was there. And I was sitting in there with Nick and then Stephanie. And then all of this pizza comes in. And I remember eating a couple pieces of pizza. And then after I ate the pizza, I was super tired.
That's what happens. If you've been up all night drinking and then you have food, that's the next step. You want to go to bed. I love how you just did the reach across your body to tuck that hair behind the ear. Little tell there, Katie, that something's a little bit odd, but let's just go back because, did I go back too far? Yeah, I wasn't wanting anything because I had been drinking. Why wouldn't you? Oh, is she talking about something else?
Beer.
I was drinking beer. Sorry. Yeah, I'm in this kind of mood. Okay, well, let's just start where the beer is.
I know. I still can't get the red record button off. So he wasn't really doing any drinking. That was the thing. Because he met outside of that place. We went over to my friend Seisha's house. We got to my friend Seisha's house. My friends ordered pizza from Pizza Luce. And then people started making drinks. I remember somebody made me a drink, but I wasn't really wanting anything because I had been drinking beer that night. And they were making me a vodka cranberry. And I just wasn't into that at all. And I got really tired. They ordered 4 pizzas. I mean, the fact that I can remember that, I can remember sitting in Seisha's kitchen and my friend Stephanie was there. My friend Paul was there. Seisha was there. Nikki was there. And I was sitting in there with Nick and then Stephanie, and then all of this pizza comes in. And I remember eating a couple pieces of pizza. And then after I ate the pizza, I was like super tired.
And I regret putting my earphones in because I can hear so many burpees. Maybe you shouldn't drink beer. But also, Katie, the biggest thing I can take from that is that you were tired. So your brain was already shutting down. You know, you were ready for bed. There's a difference between earlier on in the night compared to the end of the night when you also when you get home, your brain's almost like, yep, we're home now. We can stop remembering everyone's names. We don't need to know the class, like who's there. Okay, we don't know, so we can't call you out. Sorry, that wasn't Stephanie. And God, I didn't know Nikki was there. Nikki, did you know you were there? Katie, we need more clarification. Who? But we don't, you know? Just being stupid.
I wanted to go home. And I would have had to either call a cab or like this was before Uber. There wasn't Ubers then. There wasn't an Uber in 2007. So I would have had to call a cab. And he was like, well, I can drive you home. So, and he hadn't been drinking, so I wasn't worried about it. I'm sorry, Kim, that happened to you. I felt like the cop gaslit me. That's what it felt like. I felt like he was gaslighting. And it was funny because I was trying to find him on the website and I don't remember his last name. His name is Mike. And I don't know what his last name is. The only person I could find that's in is a lieutenant in investigations. His name is Michael Garland, but I don't remember his last name being Garland. And you guys, this is the craziest part of the story. The detectives, the lieutenant's partner is my neighbor across the street.
I knew it. My memory wasn't correct, but my memory was close. I thought he lived next door and I thought it was the detective, but we're close. Katie, you did that deliberately, didn't you? You were like, your partner wronged me, so I'm going to move into your street and make your life hell. Which isn't the case, but gosh, you know, if we're talking speculation here, which is your whole life. Katie, wouldn't his name be on the damn report? Wouldn't you go to the documents where he documents interviewing you? It would have his identity up the top. But no, you didn't bother even reaching out and finding the report, which we find out later on, like I said in my live yesterday. After Katie did her story time with her that's when Erin reached out to the police department because Katie was slandering the detective. So, you know, because she slandered everyone, but at least you can clear the detective was not doing any wrong, because Katie only saw him as the mean detective because he was letting her know that the evidence that they collected does not match her story. And it matches the other guy's story. It matches his story more. Because not that he has, you know, receipts, but it was more logical and he's not trying to pin anything on anyone. There's a way that Katie tells stories. And it's so narrow-minded. It's so targeted rather than just telling the story. Like even in her art, she builds it up, like goes through all her ex-boyfriends up until that year. Like who cares? Get to the point. But there's no point because it's not her story, in my opinion. And I said this in my last live and the one before, that we all know we should never question. But maybe we should when there's a narcissist in the room. I mean, gosh, I've never come across anyone like Katie. Have you guys? Like, bring them up. Let's put them on the table and compare. Like I thought Janelle was bad. Janelle was 101. You know, she was the introduction to narcissists you know, Katie, is really something else. I think she's in her own maybe level, her own category. It would be called, I don't know what it would be called. I'm sure there's different names. I can't even think. We've gone way off track now.
I'm not even lying. My neighbor right across the street, John, is partners with Mike.
And she said that that's the craziest detail of this whole thing. Can you believe it? That is the craziest detail. Relying too much on cliches and not being honest, Katie. Not being honest. Katie, do you know how to be honest? What's up there, Katie? What's up there?
And I will not even talk to John because of Mike, because Mike gives me so many bad feelings. And John has nothing to do with it. Literally. Yeah. So John moves in and he was like, yeah, I work at St. Louis Parks Police Department. And he's a lieutenant of patrol. And he's a nice guy, you guys. Like my neighbor, he's a nice guy. He's very serious because of his position. He's also very, he takes his security and his privacy very seriously. And all of us around here respect that because I feel like anyone who is a police officer has to be very careful in their homes because you never know who's going to retaliate. And he's a lieutenant of patrol, I think. And he's very meticulous. He keeps his like lawn super tidy. He's the kind of guy that will mow the lawn and sweep the driveway. I mean, that's how he is.
And I bet you can see clearly because you've got no fucking fence. You can watch all your neighbors doing all their duty and all their cleaning and their yard work and all that because you've got no fence. Katie. Yeah. We don't need to know secondhand information from you about your neighbor. Have you been over to your neighbor and let him know, hey, my name wasn't Paulson, but I've met your partner or whatever? You know, I don't know what you would say. No, you would say, we had the same birthday, but we don't. Sorry, I'm being a bit, I've got to calm down. I've got to bring it down a notch. Sorry, Katie. But I was thinking about your fence. Can we move past? Yeah, so hang on. I was just looking for what Llama Girl said. That she's a liar. She went to John's house. I might have missed what she was talking about before this. Did she? Yeah, guys, if I miss anything, like afterwards I'll put the timestamps on, but if I miss anything in the comments, you can just put a timestamp and I'll add it because I might miss something important. Towards the end, that kind of happens. Did she say she went to John's house? My goodness. Poor John.
He has a boat. He's a dad. He's a good guy. But I literally will not talk to him because he's Mike's partner. I should ask him, like, what's Mike's last name? But I don't know.
Again, that's the way, like, she's associating, like, she won't talk to someone because they're the partner of the guy who investigated her art and did his job. What? You are evil. That's why you have no friends.
Yes, you can stay, Smokey P. Bree says, I love you, Katie, and all the awesome subscribers here. We're all a team for each other to lean on. Yes. It's, you know, it's hard because you feel like you heal and then you don't, and then something will set you back. And I think like part of me sharing too was I wanted to remind people that even if it happened a ton, like 20 years ago or 15 years ago, like it's okay to fall back. It's okay if you have a few bad days. It's okay if you slip. It's okay if you feel stuck. It's okay if you feel disassociated. It's okay if you feel triggered and hurt and anxious. It's okay.
You know what's not okay? Talking in third person. Talk in first person, tell us your personal story. Don't dictate to us because you didn't go through it, in my opinion. Because the only reason she released her story was to deflect backlash that she was getting for not only calling SL a brat, but by not believing SL. That's what got her doxed on that dox bin site. They were like, you know, and they put all her family and stuff on there. Because how evil do you have to be? And I said this in my last live, I'm going to repeat it. Because we all heard the audio of SL, regardless of what the outcome was at the time she believed that that happened. You can't listen to that and say, no, I don't believe her. She's just being a brat. She's throwing a tanty because she's not getting her way. What? And then Katie gets backlash, right? Then releases her SL video. I mean, then releases her R video. I'm getting mixed with all my alphabet letters. Then releases her R video and the thumbnail says, believe me. I still can't get over it. I've still got to bring it up every chance I get because that is what we're dealing with. She didn't need to bring this up again. She chose to. Oh, you know, I know SL is a brat because I'm a brat too. Katie. Evil. Completely evil. Oh, hang on. I'll just see what Llama replied back. She said she won't speak to her neighbor, yet she went to his house and she said he showed her where he hides all his pew-pews. Pew-pew, you know? Starts with a G. Wow, Katie, that's another lie. As if. Unless you had a bottle of wine in your hand, I don't think anyone would be letting you inside and showing them where they're. You know, where do you keep your stash? Not of wine. Gosh, but you don't need any violent, you don't need any firearms, you know. You do the damage enough with your words, with your being, just your, you know, just being, you know, just being you. You are, she's a weapon of mass destruction. My gosh, if you do something, what did I say? Well, it's Katie.
It doesn't mean you're going to stay in those feelings every day. Usually for most of us, you learn how to bury it and not think about it. And you learn how to go through your life. And that doesn't mean you forget. And sometimes it just boils up and comes back when you're least expecting it. And that's what happened to me. And fellow Minnesota moms can understand this so much more too. It's okay to have a real, says you are permanently the person who this happened to. You know what, Katie, what would help if people would stop with assumptions? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what assumptions people are making. I couldn't watch your videos before today. My videos? I couldn't watch your other videos before today. What other videos? I look into my cameras over here, and then my computer screen is over here, and then my chat is down here. So
you should put your camera above your monitor, and then you can, you know. But what happens when, you know, I've always wondered when you look around, you know, you go down, you bop down, and then you look around like you're looking around the corner of a street or something, trying to make us think that the chat's over there, or is it on the roof, you know, Katie? So where's your logic in how this is set up? Because you've never been able to look straight down the, you know, barrel of the camera. But then do we really want that? I don't think we do, guys. Really, when she does it, that's enough. And that's a lot. the little second that she gives us, that's enough.
If I'm not looking into the camera, it's usually because I'm reading my chat, which is not where my camera eyes are. I apologize.
You're so gross. I can't believe you're just openly burping, not even saying excuse me, not even bothering about covering your mouth. You know, Katie, a little bit of social etiquette would not go anywhere near you, really.
I don't know what assumptions I'm making, though. I'm still worried about that. I'm trying to read the comments. It's hard because I want to try to like engage. And this isn't like your normal stream. Like some of my streams, I actually am just like bloop, bloop, bloop. But it's okay when you get triggered. Now you have deeper meaning. Oh, you didn't watch my triggering one. Yeah, and I don't expect everyone to watch it. I mean, I feel like the people who want to see it and need to see it will watch it. And that's who I made it for, because I put a bunch.
Who did you make it for? I thought you made it for survivors. Or have you made it for potentials? Like, you're just disgusting. That the people who, what? That is, because it was a monetized, also it was a fundraiser for Rain, which, why didn't she just donate herself? But this is 2020. The only money she could get was through her own scams of hooking up fundraisers directly linked to her PayPal. You know, winky, winky. But I'm not winking anymore, Katie, because I'm in 2024 watching you lie through your, you know, teeth. But yeah. This is in 4 years, you haven't changed. You're like, besides the couch moving and all that, everything is the exact same, except, yeah, the painting as well. But you know what I mean? The Green Wars.
Bunch of stuff at the end of that video for people that need help. I gave resources. I shared some quotes. I gave some phone numbers or some links for people because that's really why I was doing it. I wanted people to know like there are ways to get better if they need help. That's honestly why I did it.
You said that you needed it to be out on your platform because you have the power, because you didn't have the power before. For 13 years, you didn't have the power. Your voice was silent, probably because the evidence proved that your claims, you know, were wrong. They didn't match. Your claims didn't match the evidence. Maybe that might have had something to do with it. But now 13 years, you got your ego, everything's built up. You got your addies, you've got your booze, confidence, full steam ahead, blasting them on your platform, because that is the power of Paulson. The power of mass destruction. That is what that is. Oh my God, is that not the best name for her? But oh my God, it's going to get me monetized. Although that's probably not even a keyword these days, because since everything's evolved.
I'm trying to like read and do a lot of different things at the same time. Isn't it funny how there's like things that you can remember too? Like I can still remember like the smell of the room on the day that I woke up. It was like really damp in there and it felt really like cold. I can also remember like the darkness of when I went to the hospital of that room. And I can still remember the fluorescent lights that were in the room that the investigator put me in. And the hum, I can still hear the hum of those lights like in my ears sometimes. And like I can still remember like waking up and saying no. I used to wake up a lot and have that in my head.
I don't know if I believe that, Paulson. That sounds a bit like, it just sounds, you're just giving us excerpts of, like, not what is it? Bits of other people's story, but then you're not following through with your personal, like your story. You can't just throw out words that you read in articles, how other people went through it. Because I tell you, with me, I mean, for example, because I'm a survivor, none of that. My senses were switched off. Like, like you said, well, you know, I'm trying to explain to you, and it's like, can't, because you're not even looking at me, Paulson. I feel like you don't even take me or any other survivor seriously. I feel like you just want to lecture us on the Paulson way. And look at you just, okay. I'm not accepting of this. I'm just not accepting of this right now, is what I'm trying to say.
But I'm trying to think of what it ruined. He ruined my birthday because we had the same birthday. He ruined my birthday. He ruined karaoke. He ruined, I don't even know.
Fucking shit. Croaky. How many words can she not say? I can't say words like properly, but because I'm a hermit, like I'm a reader, I don't ever say the words out loud. So then when I do say the words out loud, I don't know how to say them. And I often get them wrong. That's why I love Google pronunciation. I mean, we are best mates. That's what I want on my Google Watch. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, karaoke. It's just so funny. She cannot say proper words. But what did she say before that? Because my mind just... Katie.
No.
Did I go too far?
But I'm trying to think of what it ruined. He ruined my birthday because we had the same birthday. He ruined my birthday. He ruined karaoke. He ruined, I don't even know.
I love that you found that funny because that's not how you say it, Paulson. You allowed him. You allowed him to ruin your birthday. You allowed him to ruin karaoke. You know, that's you. If you went to therapy, you would learn this. But you didn't go, in my opinion, or you went for just your free sessions from your county and then you didn't follow through with anything else, because your timeline is fucking ridiculous. The amount of boyfriends that you jump from without even giving yourself time to breathe and process the last relationship before you're jumping into another, because you need to be needed. Well, you need to be with someone, I think, because you rely on outside, what is it? What is it? Like, you don't have any insight into yourself. So you rely on other people to tell you that you're pretty, tell you that you're, or that, because you yourself don't believe it or don't know it, because you're so shallow and hollow and cold and disconnected. Oh, that's why you need someone around you, so you can mimic how to be a human constantly. Otherwise, if you were just out there by yourself, like I said, a lone wolf, how obvious your evilness would be. But then, Toad is if I just mimic him, I'll remain off everyone's radar for life. Drink up, Paulson, drink up. Just our whole face. She's laughing like it's a joke. Even in the last live where she was talking about like people questioning her or saying that she stole the story, made that into a huge, went on for 10 minutes of making that into a joke. Like, she's just hooked on to that if it was real, that kind of comment would roll off your back because you would be able to stand tall in your words. But because you're a liar and you're a leaf and you're, you think that honing in on something like that, giving extra detail, making fun of it makes you look good. No, Paulson, because that's not how someone telling the truth's mind would work. Okay, so just letting you know, or you added detail on that, straight off the bat, liar.
I always wonder, like, what it would have been like to actually have been believed. And like what it would have felt like to have them actually believe me and not have been told I was not. The one part that always bothered me about the story was that I was somehow positioned as a scorned lover. And that always bothered me because I didn't want to be his lover at all. He wasn't my type. He was too short. And I'm sorry if you're a shorter person. I like guys that are 6 feet or over. And he's about 5'8", 5'9", very lean and small in stature. And I like a guy that's like taller with broader shoulders. That's always what I've dated. He was always too slight for me. And that's just not what I'm attracted to. Like some people like a slighter, leaner guy. That's not what I'm into. It's never been what I've been into. The boyfriend that I had before him, before that night, was 6'1". My ex-boyfriend before that was 6'2". My husband is 6 feet tall. My husband has broad shoulders and he's a bigger guy. Like he's lean, but he's not super skinny. That's never really been my thing.
Oh, oh my God. What? I've made a short on this, but playing it big on my laptop, full screen, Katie. That's what I mean. That's why people question if you are a scorned lover, because you go on about how rich he is and how poor you are. You're just poor. He's rich and he's used his family businesses all his life to get through or get out of all the bad stuff he's done. He didn't even need to try at school. Well, wasn't that you? Like you didn't need to try at university because your dad went on there and made sure that you graduated? Because you're dumb? Sorry, I was doing counting fingers and then I thought of your fingers and how you count on them, and now I've thrown myself off. Great, Katie. Comparing your rapist to the guy you're married to, if you're attracted to him or not, that should never have even crossed your mind if that was never your intention. Obviously, it was your intention, because even if you're not attracted to your one night stands, I mean, you go there, don't you? Maybe money and wealth and his car made you go there. Maybe showing off your house that you owned at 25, but you didn't because you're still paying off your dad, your little checkbook in the basement there. Maybe that didn't make him, want anything else. Like he just saw where you lived and was like, no, this girl's not for me. No, Katie, that's you. What? It's like you went fishing and you caught a fish. And you're like, no, this is not my type. This is not my type, but I will put it in my esky for later. But I'll make sure everyone at that dinner table knows that this fish is not my type. What? I don't know what you're trying to do with this. Like, yeah, the boyfriend I had before I had him. Yes, let's go back. See, I missed that detail. Okay, I don't want to go too far back because we need to make it to the end.
I didn't want to be his lover.
His lover. You didn't want to be his lover.
What it would have been like to actually have been believed. And like what it would have felt like to have them actually believe me and not have been told I was not. The one part that always bothered me about the story was that I was somehow positioned as a scorned lover. And that always bothered me because I didn't want to be his lover at all. He wasn't my type. He was too short. And I'm sorry if you're a shorter person. I like guys that are 6 feet or over, and he's about 5'8", 5'9".
Also, why would that like be bad for anyone saying, like, no one cares if they're short and you're saying that no one's into you, you're married, like, you're not what?
Very lean and small in stature. And I like a guy that's like taller with broader shoulders. That's always what I've dated. He was always too slight for me. And that's just not what I'm attracted to. Like some people like a slighter, leaner guy. That's not what I'm into. It's never been what I've been into. The boyfriend that I had before him, before that night, was 6'1". My ex-boyfriend before that was 6'2". My husband is 6 feet tall. My husband has broad shoulders and he's a bigger guy. Like he's lean, but he's not super skinny. That's never really been my thing.
And then also I think about someone who said in the chat in one of the lives how she had previously told everyone that all the girls thought he was so hot at school. And he probably never paid Katie any attention except for that night. I mean, the first thing she said to him was, we share the same birthday, the same thing that she used to bring up all the time at school because that's as far as their relationship went. And she thought it made them really close. Like, we share the same birthday. We're basically twins. Yeah. Wow, Paulson, everything that's coming out of your mouth is just, God, I feel like it doesn't even need commentary. I just need to press play.
I'm not tall at all either. I'm not tall. I'm short. I'm 5'3.5". But I've always liked tall guys because my joke when I was a kid was I needed to be with a tall person because that way my child would have a chance. Now, the irony in all of this is I have a child that has a form of growth hormone dwarfism. So he's in the 5th percentile of his height for his age. So I don't know how tall my son will ever be. He's very small for his size. Now, the irony in all of this is I have a child that has a form of growth hormone dwarfism. So he's in the 5th percentile of his height for his age. So I don't know how tall my son will ever be. He's very small for his size. And it does.
But that wasn't due to genes. He didn't get that from, like it probably would have been better if Toad didn't have a child and especially a son because the damage that he did with his alcoholic sperm. And then you, I believe, didn't stop drinking because, hey, you wouldn't even stop drinking for your husband and his sober journey. Because you are Katie and you're selfish. You probably, you are the type that whatever happened the day before doesn't exist. So then you wouldn't have to live with that guilt. But my God, Katie, the cognitive development of your child came down to neglect, but also his form of dwarfism, which you say comes from the pituitary gland, which was injured. Like, he was born with a pituitary gland. I found the article where Katie says, like, she finds out that the pituitary gland is collapsed. So it was there until 3 months old. So what happened? What would happen? And that's what I Googled. How would a pituitary gland in a child be damaged at 3 months old? Well, traumatic brain injury was the number one thing, which is the new term for shaken baby. And we all know that this is just my theory, I want to stress, because I've delved into, done the hard yakka research, which Katie doesn't think people would do. She doesn't think that people care enough to look into stuff because she doesn't care enough. Alcoholics, substance abusers, they don't have patience. We've seen Toad yell at V and she doesn't do anything to try and protect her son. We've seen her yell at him. We've seen her patience. We've seen her temperament. She's not patient with him. She wants to get rid of him, like, not like that, but imagine 3 months old. He's a premature child. He would have been crying more. He would have been more clingy. He would have needed more care. And she just wants that free time to drink, to gossip. I'm not saying anymore. I'm letting the silence speak for itself because I feel awful even bringing it up. But Katie, you have to know that someone cares and someone looked into it and someone is calling you out. And I believe that you really have damaged your son so much more by not going to therapy. Like the therapist for his eating, he had the oral dysphagia, which premature children have, like all these developmental delays. I went through them as well, but my mum didn't even let me know that I was delayed. But like I didn't walk till I was like 18 months, like almost 2, like around there. But that's because my hips were like it's from spina bifida basically. Being born PREM and not having any muscle tone from my waist down, which then affects my digestive system, which is exactly what happened with V. I've got gastroparesis. He has gastroparesis, which is delayed emptying of the stomach. And if you don't eat specific foods, those foods just don't digest and then they become toxic. And it's why his stomach sticks out. My stomach sticks out as well. My dad used to call me chicken because I had like these skinny legs with no muscle tone on them. And then this huge gut because I've got no muscle tone in my gut. So I can't even hold my stomach in. I like to call myself Penguin. When I saw Penguin on Batman, that was when I knew we were family. But yeah, so missing out on the crucial stages of that last 5 weeks, even like he was born 5 weeks PREM, he would have missed out on the stomach cells being formed, which digest the food and like absorb the nutrients from food. Like again, I don't have that. Like I almost ended up on a feeding tube, but my mum made sure that I never would because once you're on a feeding tube, you're basically on there for life. Everything that you've learned and your stomach muscles and everything just go dormant out the window. In my opinion, the feeding tube benefits Katie. She's the only one that benefits from this. She gets the property tax exemption every year. Then she also gets the free time to drink, booze it up, the free money as well that she doesn't have to spend on food for her kid because the government pays for all his food, all his medical supplies, which she hoards in a cupboard and then does show and tells. Look how medically fragile my son is. He has all of this equipment. In that live, she went through that live with snot on her hands, touching everything. I'll link it below. She's absolutely, because she's not present, she doesn't know what she's sharing. Because she has no self-awareness, she doesn't know what she's sharing. And every single thing that she had shared proves that there is neglect, if not abuse, going on in this house. I'll also I'll link the dogs videos as well. Might have to revisit the dogs because the police reports with the dogs, we started matching them together with the members on my channel. And it's just even more awful because the dates. But yeah, Katie, we know. I'm lumping everyone in with me. Everyone is in with me because we know, Katie, we know that you're a liar. Like, just looking at what you've done to people that speak out about you, like Renelle, Rabbit, Sassy, Nene, all these people, right? And you just go to town slandering them because what? They've spoken the truth and it's not your narrative that you've put out to the world. No wonder you went after this guy. He wasn't part of your story. You were already probably signing your last name with his last name. In your head. That's who you wanted, not Toad. Toad came to you, like, he didn't even have money. He was bankrupt. He relied on you. You were the rich bitch. I bet you love that. I'll take care of you, Toad. I'll take care of you. Okay? As long as you take care of my kid, not your kid. No, not your kid, my kid. This is fucking evil.
Doesn't matter how tall my husband is. He just doesn't have the tools to grow. Now, he responds to growth hormone, but it's kind of ironic in a way. They claim that they can get him to be about my husband's height, but we'll see. And they say that statistically he should follow the growth pattern of his father in terms of his height. So, but he's so small. He's literally in the 5th percentile. So yeah, he wasn't my type. He also, like, I don't know, his whole like aesthetic just wasn't me. He like had slicked back hair and he was just not it. Like, I like guys that are like in a t-shirt and jeans, manly guys. I don't know. Like, my husband is very, like, he's a dude. And I'm not trying to like, I feel like I'm being like, if a guy isn't a dude, that I'm somehow being like mean, but I've always just liked guys that are like dudes, you know? He's like, my husband loves to woodwork and he's super handy and he's really like, you know, into all that kind of stuff. And Nick was so like coddled that I don't think he knew how to do anything. And that's not attractive to me, like, at all. Yeah, I like guys that are like rough and tough. But it's funny because my husband never played sports really. He's not like, but he loves football. But he's also super sensitive, which is really funny. But he's also very man. Oh my God, you guys are contacting them? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, before we get into that, just, I can't believe you finished that off with a laugh, and I can't believe that you just went and thought that that was important, Katie, to tell us. That right there, no victim would ever compare or state that they weren't attracted. Like, because that's got, but then again, you were getting pushback, you know, that you were scorned because you even asked the cop. No, you told the cop. He didn't leave a note. And you asked for your sheets back as well. And the couch, which I can't get over. I think that's the most startling thing because it's taken me a whole night to process. Llama Girl let me know, and obviously I feel like my brain definitely blocked out a lot of details like this when I came across it, because I was going through stuff when I first started my channel, like in 2020. So it's good to go back over these with 2024 like Bill brain, because I'm way more alert and with it, and well, we have all this 4 years of information. Yeah, Llama Girl let me know that couch, right? That couch, my friend, who's not my friend anymore, and I will not say to anyone that you were my friend, but they were. I know it's a couch. Okay. Anyway, that couch, I can't even say it now. I've got to vocalize this. That couch is how do I say this? Yeah, so that couch, she got busy with this guy on it, and it even had a stain on it, and she kept it. She kept it for 13 years. She's been lugging around this couch. If it happened, if it was real, she would have, like, you know, taken it to the tip, not even taken it to the tip, not even given it the gracious of moving it to the verge. Like, I would have totally, you know, just burnt it. Why didn't you burn it, Katie? Why didn't you burn it with your sheets? No, you didn't get your sheets back, but and the dog poo, and, you know, because the dog ate that. Yeah, I'm not saying it out loud again because that is torturous to my brain. We need to move on. We need to get to the end of this, Katie, so we can move on, you know?
Oh dear. I tagged them on Twitter. Here's the thing. Like, yeah. I've lived in silence for far too long. I always feel bad about, like, you know how, like, everyone has their own preference? Even my husband, when I met him, his hair was too light. So I was so weird. I really liked guys that were tall and had dark hair. I had never gone for a guy that had light hair. And my husband is really fair. He has, like, blondish hair. He has blue eyes and his skin is super pale. He sunburns constantly. He's very fair. And all the guys that I'd always dated before were, like, taller, darker, more like Mediterranean. Like my boyfriend before him was Italian. So yeah, I remember meeting my husband and I was like, he's kind of pale for my liking. You know, you have whatever it is that makes you happy.
Yeah, her husband was the first light-haired, blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy that she'd gone for. Which makes you think, you know, she even thought when she met Toad, oh, you know, I probably won't hook up with him because he's got blonde hair, blue eyes. He's not my type. But she's in, you know, it's just, but as soon as she met Toad, she went home, rang her best friend. I'm marrying that guy. Because you were desperate. He was the only guy that paid you attention in all these, like, the only thing they have in common is drinking. What? Plus, she needed an enabler. You know, any guy that came into her life wanted to better her, saw that she was drunk, that she was just ruining her life by consuming all this alcohol and pills, wanting to, you know, get her sober. She would not even be with them. Nah, how dare you tell Katie that she's not perfect? But yeah, Toad wouldn't marry or date anyone that was Catholic. So yeah, she gave up Jesus for him, and look what she got. Dinosaurs. No, but you know. That's another thing, Michelle. She's always saying how small her town is. Oh yeah, but like where she is living now is not where she grew up. But where she's living now is purposely selected because she was getting questioned by her friends and family about what she was doing with her son. So yeah, move him away, isolate the husband because his family was also asking questions. This way she can continue. Also, this way she can continue avoiding in-person doctor, like person to person. Telehealth is the way that it works. And we've seen what happened with her boil. She was telling the doctor what she had. I've got a sinus infection, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, the doctor wasn't seeing that she had a huge, like, boil on her head, and it was obviously staph. You know, 4 years later, it's still there. But yeah, she was adamant that it was sinus infection for so long. But that's what happens. Like, that's why her son was able to go 4.5 years without having been seen by a doctor. 4.5 years he was neglected, where they just drank away their, you know, they couldn't handle having a special needs child. And so they just drank away all their, I don't know, drank instead of going and seeing a therapist. Although they did go to their community church and, you know, played their pity story, the Pity Paulson story, and got what they needed from the church. And then left them as well, but never went seeking therapy or help for themselves because they have their go-to. That's their booze. Yeah, so for 4.5 years, their child. So he had, in my opinion, this is the timeline. So like 3 months old, there was injury to his pituitary gland, which resulted in panhypopituitarism. Yeah, and then with that diagnosis, yeah, and then he had from that he acquired hydrocephalus, which was the buildup of cerebral fluid, and it would have been obvious that his head was increasing, and you can see it in the photos that Katie shares. And yeah, for 4.5 years, this was left. And in this 4.5 years, she was talking about he had asthma. He always had like a runny nose. He always had the cold. He always had ear infections. He was always lethargic. Like in this time, he was going to daycare. So up until 2016, February, when Katie left her work or was fired, he was going to daycare. He was born in 2012. So he's going to daycare like Monday to Friday all day. And he was sleeping and eating fine there as well, but he would sleep all the time. As soon as Katie would get him home, she would make him dinner or whatever and then put him to bed straight away. Yeah. And that is where more damage to his brain happened because the cerebral fluid built up over 4 years, and then she shared the brain scan. I'll link all my videos down below, but she shared the brain scan wanting the trophy because her son had the worst hydrocephalus known to on the earth. Like I'd never seen anything so destructive. His brain had been pushed back. Dormant parts had not been able to grow for a child that, children are like sponges. Their brains are like sponges. And the information they can take in that first 3 years, they can learn a language. Both my nieces know Swedish because my sister-in-law only ever spoke Swedish to them. And by 3, they're speaking fluent Swedish. You can teach kids so much, but if you neglect them, if you don't give them the stimuli that they need, it goes internal. It damages their brain. Their brain develops differently. Katie has damaged her child, in my opinion. And it's so bad to say. But how much more does she want to hinder his life, isolating him? She never wanted him to even be able to talk. They were looking into Braille. What? The reason he couldn't talk is because of the hydrocephalus. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. She went and did all these other things, but look at your child. Look at your child. It was just so, it's just so bad. Yes, Will, exactly. A pet rock. Well, a pet rock wouldn't be stimulated by her. But I was going to say a pet rock, like someone playing with a pet rock would get more stimuli. The rock would be more stimuli, than this child. As soon as he came home, he went to bed. But then she shared all these videos of them roughhousing with Toad. And I think that's absolutely too far what they were doing. He's meant to have panhypopituitarism and all this, and then they're chucking him up in the air, throwing him around. Like, what the fuck? Stop being so rough with your child. And yeah, okay, we need to continue. And I'm sorry, chat. I just keep going into these huge rants, and then I miss so much. Yeah, exactly, Llama. Exactly. 4 months is all it took. From February 2016, when Katie was fired from her call center job, 4 months is all it took She was unable to be the parent, unable to have the patience for him to eat because daycare was feeding him before then, 4 months. And he was on a feeding tube. Never had to feed her child ever again. And what is it? So he was put on the feeding tube at 3.5 years old. 3.5 years old. When most of the delayed development with the mouth, the motor skills, that's all to do with premature birth. The delayed walking, all that. Oh my God, Katie. And even with the gastroparesis diagnosis, she's still feeding him gluten, still feeding him high-processed sugary cereals, M&Ms, Cheetos, choking food. What the hell is going on? And she lists, rather than listing disorders or disabilities, she lists symptoms to fill that list up. Her child has to be the worst. Katie, you're the worst. You are the worst parent. You are the worst parent. I would never trust you with, well, even her animals are her props. She doesn't care for them. Have you ever heard the dogs drinking water in her funeral waiting room, also known as her office? Have you? No, because they're always passed out, in my opinion, drugged. But yeah, we'll have to do a new video on the dogs because I have a lot more to say. Oh, God, I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, and the blueberries. Who just said, I just saw blueberries, and I'm like, are you talking about the story when Katie and her friend went and picked blueberries and ate them? Because it reminded me so much of the Anne of Green Gables books with Diane. If anyone, I know that's how lame I am. No, apparently the IBLP, girls in that, or the Duggar women in that, are really into Anne of Green Gables. I'm like, oh my gosh, I might understand.
Don't contact his family. I would only I just want people to know it's him. That's it. Don't contacting someone. Annie contacted someone on Facebook. Oh, don't contact her. I only share the business information because he is connected to them. If you're, I tagged the police. That's who I care about, not the businesses. But they, at the end of the day.
You said the businesses. Why can't you shut it down? You just were informed that your minions are leaving negative reviews on the businesses. And you're trying to say, well, that's not my responsibility. I don't really care what happens to them. I'm more important about the police. Shut it down, Katie. Tell your minions to stop. This exact thing happened in, 2020. 2020 was so long. But during TATI, when Emily, Saltsy, and everyone on Tati's side or anyone covering it all got the threats. And everyone was telling Katie, and she was laughing about it. And her chat was telling her, these people were coming for them and they're letting them know they're doing it for you. And she laughed rather than saying, don't do it for me, blah, blah, blah. I'm not asking you to do this. No. Laughed. And then the backlash the next day, she's getting threats now. Katie, you only could see how obvious it is that you are a liar.
No, they don't have anything to do with it. They're related to him and he uses their name. That's the point. Like, he's using their names. They're not, he's using their names. And I think he worked at one of the places. You've only, types are a thing. It is, it's true. I don't think anything is getting out of control. Either way, don't contact the businesses. I want to hold accountable him, and I want people to know that he's using his family's name to get out of stuff. And perhaps that will help his family disconnect from him, because they should. They should not support him, and they should disconnect and not associate and not help him financially. I don't know if they help him financially anymore, but I know that he was able to build his limousine business based on his family's name. The Chiefs just popped in, yeah. He's always used his family. He was 28 years old when he was doing this. In fact, a couple of years ago, I said his name publicly. And I named the businesses. I've always named the businesses. So I wouldn't be surprised if they already know. They probably look at him as a stain on their family name, to be honest. But somebody from somebody that was friends with his grandparents reached out to me. And they said, so his grandfather died a couple of years ago. And he said his grandfather would be rolling in his grave. And he's like, that is not how he raised his grandchildren to be. And that's not how he raised his children. And she said, but I would not be surprised if he's done this before, and he is still doing this, because he has always been bailed out by everyone in his family, and he has never been held accountable for anything. He is the kid that has always been a problem.
I wonder if your parents would be proud of you for the way you're acting and what you're doing and how you're harming people willy-nilly, your carelessness. Do you think they'd be proud of the girl they raised, who has no social etiquette, knows no boundaries, has held on to this for 13 years and then is using her platform to tear down his business, and his family and their business, without thinking about the ripple effect, how there's children probably involved, and you're not doing anything by, like, you're like, his name's out there now. But your name's out there now too, known as the liar. Everything you do is lying, slandering, harming people. So, yeah. We don't know the guy from the bar of soap, but we know you, Katie, and we know your actions, and we know that you are guilty of everything. I feel like I needed to end that, but it didn't go where I wanted it to go.
And that's coming from someone who knows them, you know? And then you have people from my high school telling me the exact same thing, because he was that kid that was never held accountable. Ever.
And you've never been held accountable ever. And you surround yourself by people that never hold you accountable ever, i.e. your husband, i.e. your chat. Well, they did hold you accountable, but I don't think she's going to be, she's going to be blocked. So, Katie, what about you being held accountable? What about, and it's going to come. Like I said, this is part of the karma train 4 years later, but hey, better late than never. Come on, 7M, hurry up. I mean, gosh, the end of the year is just too far away right now. I really just want it to move on, but she's dragging it on and delaying like every other court case she's ever had.
So I actually got tested for everything. I had to take antibiotics for 2 weeks. In the event that I was given any sort of STI, I was given the Plan B in the event that he didn't use protection. So I took a really strong antibiotic in the event that I was given like the G thing, the C thing, any of those. So I took 2 weeks of antibiotics. I got Plan B from them. I got a bunch of meds. They gave me a ton of meds, and they tested my blood, but they never returned any of that information. Take back my birthday. I should. So I did everything I was supposed to do. I gave them all the evidence from my house. They took my comforter, you guys. They took my comforter and my sheets, and I never got them back. They took my clothing. They took so much stuff from my house. I've never been told anything about it. Nothing.
Because you never followed it up, because you didn't care. Because once you've, once you were done with the detective, you were done. You didn't care. You moved on to the next guy. Yeah, right? That's what happened. You wanted your comforter back? I'm gobsmacked that you would even list that. Why do you care? These are things they took for evidence to prove your story. And you're mad they took that evidence. And it makes me think of, imagine if they believed me. Because it was a story and you were nervous about them not believing you because all you had was your words. The claims, your words. The evidence that was found at the scene, they weren't your words, right? They weren't your narrative. That was the truth. That's what made you angry at the detective. He was telling you, Paulson, you're lying. I bet it's not the first time you've been told that.
My birthday's in November. Oh, you guys, I'm going to be 42. I don't want to be 42. I don't even want to be 41. So dumb.
Holy shit. Like you're my age right now here in 20. So I'm 4 years. I must be 4 years younger than you. God, Katie. And I look like I'm in my 20s. Because I'm taking care of my skin. High five, Ellie, right? Yep. Sunscreen for days. Katie, I don't want to be 40. But how old was she when, I think it was also 2020, when she found out that you can get an UTI from sex because she said it was a completely different hole? Yeah, so she was 40. And also didn't know when she was 41 or whatever what a cold sore was and that it was contagious and that you couldn't just put, antibiotics on it. You had to go get an antiviral put on it. Didn't know that it was, in the herpes family, although Toad let her know in the live chat. Why couldn't he let her know when, the several days that she's been sleeping next to her son, kissing him because he's also got a cold sore? Yeah. And, Katie didn't get her vaccinations when she was pregnant and her son ended up with whooping cough. I know. Right? And she blamed her nephew who came to visit. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Well, yes, Katie, I can. Can you, Katie? Can you believe it? That we know that you're bullshitting?
So dumb. I don't know. I honestly just tagged them on Twitter and I said, it's been 4,885 days since you said you were going to call me and you haven't called me yet. 4,885 days since you said you were going to call me.
And what you picked up, like you put that phone down so quick, you picked up your comfort. That's the reason, Katie, that beer, that alcohol is the reason you did not follow up because you don't care. You're happy as long as you can continue playing the victim, your pity party story. That's why you've allowed him to ruin your birthday and all that, and you continue that as your story. You need that in your story. What else have you got? You got no evidence. You've just got that beer. Hold on tight to it. Hold on tight. Because she also is in a celibate marriage, which some people that survive do, but this is very different. This is very, very different. They are worse off than roommates. Oh, Plan B only came out in 19, not like, what? That's crazy. What did people use up until then, I guess? Do you know what, though? Probably because all of society was like had the Catholic beliefs. I don't know if it was in America, it probably was. I feel like that's how society was, and it had like even Good Friday. People were complaining that we celebrate Good Friday and Easter like in the holidays when we don't even follow, like no one goes to church anymore. Well, basically like this generation, besides my parents still do. But yeah, everyone's like, just hush, hush. We get the free, we get the holidays. That's what we want. We want the holidays. We want Christmas. We want Easter. But yeah, it doesn't mean you have to be. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just need to press play. I'm so sorry, guys. I am annoying.
So yes, I am motivated to expose people because of what happened to me. I am motivated to investigate because clearly investigators couldn't investigate my case. I am motivated to expose people that do this kind of stuff because of what happened to me. I'm motivated to support people that go through this because of what happened to me. I'm motivated to use my voice to support other women because of what happened to me. I am motivated to call out people that do this kind of stuff because of what happened to me. A lot has happened to me besides this that motivates me. There was also the stuff with my grandma that motivates me. And then, what my ex-boyfriend did to me, that also shaped me. I mean, my ex-boyfriend is a whole nother can of worms. That guy's a piece of something. That guy's horrible. Terrible.
He painted your house, He did all that awful stuff and then he painted your house. But I mean, yeah. It's just I don't know.
I know, and the funny thing is I'm a scorned lover, but I didn't want his phone number. I didn't want your phone number. I didn't want to ever talk to you again. Yep. I think the detective is still there, but I tagged them on Twitter, so we'll see if they respond. I said, I have a really large platform and everyone's going to know what you guys did. Sorry. Harvey Weinstein didn't get justice until people spoke out. Bill Cosby didn't get justice until people spoke out. So I'm just going to follow their lead. I'm done.
You're dumb. That's what you are. You are dumb. Dumb and desperate. That's what you are.
I feel like there's this massive misconception about this Sophie story because of a video that's circulating saying that I didn't believe her. I was talking in a live stream about how the court said it didn't happen and a forensic evaluation said it didn't happen. And they said she was being coached. So we were talking about, was she being coached and was the court being truthful? And was she just being coached and acting out like that? It wasn't saying she was doing that. And then if the whole video would have been up at the end, you would have heard me say, but they don't show you that part, that I do believe that she was a victim. But because of what the court said, I didn't know what happened. And that's the problem, because whenever there's something online, you have one story and then you have another story, and I am always trying to evaluate against it. And then in another live stream, I said, I'm going to believe her until someone tells me differently. And I even said,
I'm just cutting you off because this is a different story now. Before you said you were reading a comment in chat that said she was a brat. And then I would say, yes, but it's what you said after that, where you said, just like my son does when he doesn't get his way. But also this whole thing hadn't even come out yet, hadn't it? Like the investigation hadn't reached its end. I'm pretty sure when Katie jumped on that live and called her a brat, that it hadn't come out about Michael Long, being a scammer, that it was all made up. So like my thing is like, just from hearing the audio of SL, how could you doubt her story? She believed it. She fully believed it. And it's just a fluke that Katie ended up being right, Oh, I feel sick because this is the reason she said her R story on the live. That's the reason. Her deflect off the backlash of calling SL a brat and not believing her is the reason she released her R story with the thumbnail, believe me. Which, so don't put that thumbnail on it. Stop it. Just fucking stop it. If your story was real, Katie, you would not be acting like this. You would not be laughing that you tagged the cops. You would not be laughing that it's going to bring, you know, his family is going to get caught. Like, you just, the amount of people you're putting at harm because you're still hung up that this investigation didn't come back in your favor. Go and have a look at the report, the findings. People did their job. You were found to be a liar. So that's got nothing to do with what happened with Bill Cosby and Weinstein. How is it go? Look, it doesn't matter because he's a so it's all right to butcher his name. But geez, Katie. God, I don't even want to press play now. I'm so angry at you. Whoops.
Said that I was skewed in my belief because of the way that we all process things, automatically questioning. And I admitted I was wrong in a video that's still up on my channel. So I don't know why people keep clamoring to this. It's not even true. Yeah. The only thing I said was that custody cases are very wild and attorneys will tell you that things can happen. And whether it's one thing or another, the little girl is still the victim. And that's what I said at the end of that video. And that's the truth. And the problem with the toxicness around that story is that you can't even talk about what the court says because automatically people say that you're not believing the dad. But how do you go, well, this is what the court says, this is what they say, because there's always two sides. And, you know, just like with me, there's two sides. He said this, which I told you, he said this, I said this. So
three sides. There's three sides in an investigation. There's what they said, what you said, and then what the evidence says. Like I said, Katie, that's one story that you don't have any control over.
So, you know, they were in court. They also said it was edited. You know, does that mean I don't believe her? No, it's just me talking about what was being said. I try to always just evaluate and question everything that I'm getting. And and that's what I said, Piper. I said it was either a case of what happened to her, which would have been SA, or it would be a case of horrific parental alienation. Either way, it's ABUSE. Either way, she's the victim. And that's what I said. So either way, she's being coached to act this way, or either way, it happened to her. But either way, she is not at fault and she doesn't deserve it.
And I'll say that about the guy that you're accusing. He does not deserve this at all because conclusions were made. Reports, evidence concluded exactly what is that embryo said. It concluded that you were not the victim, Katie. And right now you're being the abuser. Which is your preferred role?
And the good news is that there's a court order now keeping her away from the alleged perp that did this, and they are investigating, and they will figure out what happened. And I talked to the reason why I was having questions was I talked to 3 attorneys that day to ask them about what happens in family law. And a lot of stuff can happen in custody cases, but that doesn't mean that what's happening to her didn't happen. It's just a mess, to be honest. Correct. Oh, Taeyeon says she's a victim of something and needs to be safe regardless. And that is what I said. But people want to automatically just take that one part of the video where we were questioning what she was talking about and saying what the court said and them saying she was acting out and them saying she was being.
God, shut up. Just shut up. The way you go on about it. This is what I mean, Paulson. You're so hell-bent on bits that make you irk up. Why does it make you irk up? Maybe have some insight into yourself. Notice that that feeling comes from in you. The feelings you're feeling are what you should be listening to. I've forgotten already what I was gonna say. How? Because we're getting to the end. And wouldn't it be good if, yeah. Oh, no. Lost it.
Correct. Oh, Taeyeon says she's a victim of something and needs to be safe regardless. And that is what I said. But people want to automatically just take that one part of the video where we were questioning what she was talking about and saying what the court said and them saying she was acting out and them saying she was being bratty. And so then you're like, well, that doesn't mean.
Yeah. So I fear the day that Toad wants to get a divorce from Katie. She will lie and say stuff that, to keep the custody of V, when she is the reason that he's divorcing to probably save V. I wish he had that kind of perspective though, but really he can see, because he's still got that mind of addiction, that Katie is the reason he doesn't have to work, all this. He's just living it up. He can play arts and craft, have an Etsy store, compare with, UBT, their best mates, hanging out, while their wives streaming all their shit online. Katie. I really hope that one day, well, not one day, maybe one day, no, the statute of limitations has run out, but maybe he'll get a platform and it will be bigger than you and he'll be able to set you straight. But then would it be worth it? Sometimes I'm like, is it worth it? Sometimes it's just better to acknowledge it and let it go. Let it go.
I think she is. But I'm always going to support a kid regardless, period.
You don't even support your own kid and don't refer to her as a kid. Like, geez, just get some vocabulary in your gob. Please stop stroking your hair. Okay, it's enough. It's really enough. It's time to put those hands down and get a straight jacket just for hair twiddling.
But this whole assertion that I don't support her is it's just made up. It's fake outrage. And I'm not, beyond that, I have nothing else to say. I posted his information, but don't contact him. Like, don't contact the businesses. I'm putting out the public information because it's public information. That's all I'm doing. I'm not telling people to do not harass anyone.
Again, you're the only public figure. He is a private citizen. His family are private citizens and they have a right to their privacy. You publicly naming them and then not expecting your minions to attack them is absolute stupidity. And you've waited this long to say, don't contact him. Well, why release the name then? Why release the businesses? You want them out there? You want it tied to this negative, made up story? But then you don't want your minions, because it's not real. I mean, good, your parents celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary and went to his family's restaurant that they run. Make that make sense. You said you called your mum the day after or messaged her. You said she drove you, but then we know you drove yourself because you weren't as legless as what you claim. You said you told your mum. Does your mum not care, or is your mum a narcissistic abuser as well and would take her daughter to the restaurant of your rapist? Like, what? Again, it doesn't make any sense. And Katie, just so you know, I shared, and so Cactus Crew, so you know as well, but you've probably seen it on my community board. I posted the pride flag post from 2020 where she's like, my neighbors, my hate crime, all that. And then it was so beautiful. The comments, people are in there letting everyone know that she lied. That's what I mean, karma. That's what I mean, Katie. That is karma. Okay, see how it comes back around 4 years later, but still coming back around. And the carousel from hell has been spinning for years, the same shit. I can't wait until it's spinning. Karma. Every day something happens. Although, how bad a run did she really have, like in September, October 2020, when you think about it? So like October 26 or 27 was when Little Red and also Aaron, they were talking about the detective, and then the rape report was released on YouTube. And then she spiraled. And then that night she was on IG, and that's when Toad was yelling at V in that room for 10 hours. I'll link it below. But yeah, and she couldn't get off because she's had such an emotional day dealing with the backlash of her lies. And that was more important than her son or her husband losing his temper and yelling, and she didn't even react. And that is sick because, I mean, you only need a tiny little bit of motherly instinct to like flinch a little bit, you know, show some kind of concern. No, nothing.
Me sharing my story is for me to take my power back. And he will have to know that people know it's him. And that to me is satisfying because he can't hide anymore. And I'm not going to let him hide because people.
Well, welcome to the limelight, Paulson, because your name is now also attached to that lie, to that slandering that happened post the report that found your findings, you know? So, your research really lacked here, really, but really doesn't exist anyway? No. Gosh.
No. Yes, do not contact the family or their businesses, 100%. Yes, it's for my empowerment to share. It's not for you to hurt them.
You're sharing it publicly on a public platform with intent. With like, fucking hell, take some accountability for what you're sharing. What if someone did this to you, Katie? What if someone did that to you? And the police report had already come to a conclusion. And 13 years later, they're still going on. Or they, you know, you probably shut them down pretty bad.
I don't go to their. Can I tell you a story? My mom and dad's 40th wedding anniversary was 10 years ago, 11 years ago. No. Yeah, 11 years ago. And they wanted to go to Jack's. It's owned by his family. And I said, I will only go if we know that he's not there. So we had to contact them to ask if he wasn't there. It's the only time I've ever been there, and I will never go back. And I only.
What? Regardless of him being there or not, you would not want to be anywhere near his family-owned restaurant. Are you fucking kidding me, Katie? You're underestimating. You're underestimating the trauma. You're playing your own game. This is sick. Because if your family cared for you, they would never put you in that position. You would never have to call and make sure that he's not there. That is ridiculous. And yeah, 2 years after the R. 2 years. Are you Katie? Why even add this detail? Because you need to add as much detail as you think. The more detail makes it more believable. And hey, I'm just being honest about my parents, guys. You know, I'm being transparent. No, this is you admitting that you're a liar. Think it through, Paulson. Think it through. You don't. It pops into your head and then you run with it. My God, this is just... It's just more startling with 2024 mind. Because we know the damage that she would have caused with this live. The minions going after the family. And like I said, guys, like it's come out that the business is not related to him or anything, you know? They actually made like a YouTube video and stuff, like, because their business was at stake. The only negative reviews they'd ever got is from her minions that had never been there. But then Katie is allowed to go there. She went there 2 years later with her family. So it's either your family are abusers. Well, 2 years later, Katie finds out about her grandpa. Something's wrong with my computer. I can't click on chat. It just keeps kicking me out. Like, I'm not Katie, okay? Oh, why is this happening? I can't even press play now.
We went there because my family wanted to go there. They have excellent food, by the way. It's an excellent restaurant.
Even if it was an excellent restaurant, I reckon if I was put through that, I'd say the food was shit. But Katie, she's in there with the good reviews. Fucking hell. Oh, burpees again.
You guys are going to blame me for everything. The haters will blame me for everything. And I'm not going to let you steal my thunder. I'm not going to let you make me feel bad. You are responsible for your actions. I'm responsible for my actions. I'm not responsible for what other people do. I'm only... You guys are going to blame me for everything. The haters will blame me for everything. And I'm not going to let you steal my thunder. I'm not going
to let you steal my thunder. I got no words, Katie.
Let you make me feel bad. You are responsible for your actions. I'm responsible for my actions. I'm not responsible for what other people do. I'm only responsible to say, I'm sharing this publicly. I'm okay with sharing that publicly. I'm not disparaging these people. I'm saying this is what happened. This is his family. That's it. Don't contact them. That's it. And if you are someone that's worried about what's going to happen to these businesses or to him, you're not supporting me.
We're rational. Our minds are not riddled with addiction, drowning in alcohol. You're not thinking rationally. And the people that are and giving you the logic in the chat, haters. You don't want haters to steal your thunder. What?
You're not here for me. You're only here for the drama. So yeah. Anyways, I gotta go. Thank you guys so much for being there for me, for supporting me. I am not here to argue, but the people that are in here commenting, making these comments, they're the same people that are always making these kinds of comments. I could rescue kittens from a burning building, and you guys would blame me for burning the building down.
Well, there's a reason that you chose rescue dogs. There's a reason that you chose dogs that have extreme anxiety so that you can get those pills from the vet, Katie. They're interchangeable. Anxiety meds are with, yeah, there's no difference. You could be popping your dog's meds. I mean, you do need extra doses of trazodone to give your son, who takes more than you do because he's got insomnia. I will link that video down below as well. Spoken by Katie with her proud voice, thinking she's saying something, you know, proud, but she's absolutely confessing to child abuse. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Bye, guys.
No, don't give me a peace sign at the end. This is the only time I'm not happy to see that peace sign, because it's not that stream for that. It's not. Look at your face. Look at your fucking happy face. This is not a stream to sit back and slosh beer. This is not a stream to sit back and laugh and joke. To be defensive as fuck because you're a liar, because you lied, because you are hurting the very people that you say that your channel helps. You could care less about their story. You just pick apart bits that you steal for your own. It's disgusting, Katie. It's fucking disgusting. You are a liar. Katie Liar Paulson. And the only joy you get is by lying more. I can't believe your mum and dad put that middle name. Like, they were like, let's bring some joy to the world. Give her the middle name. She'll have to be joyful. No, not even that. Evil. Your name is now attached to all those allegations, Katie. False allegations. I really do hope that time comes back and kicks you in the ass and does more. But, you know, once, you know, I just feel like it's going to add to your punishment with 7M. That will just be a built up load of karma. And it will be what we all need from you to get you offline. I'll be happy the day that you are offline. So will your son. He won't have to listen to all those details that you find so enjoying. Yeah, well, I actually looked it up to make sure, because I had no idea that, like, anxiety meds were interchangeable. Otherwise I would have given my dog some. No. But yeah, I looked up that they do, that trazodone is something that they do. And I even looked up the vet that they go to and they stock that. And yeah, I just put my little theory together, the stuff that's been going on and the police reports, you know, they still have that fence. They've never got a new fence. Guess what they did? Instead of training their dogs in getting their dogs therapy for the anxiety and the shit that they went through in their past life, they drug them and they keep them inside 24/7 with 4 small cats, and it's bred into them, predisposed through their genetics. These are coonhounds, hunting coonhounds. That's why every time they go out, they go directly to that old guy's fence where Katie planted the damn tree next to it, try to divert the dogs away from there. Because he has 2 little dogs, like chihuahuas or whatever. And they just smell us. And it's like, you know, these are dogs that hunt and kill. The shit they've done to the cats have so many injuries, like full on open wounds. And Katie will leave it for a while, take a photo, and then take the cat to the vet in the afternoon or whatever. And it happened in the morning. The cats don't have a safe space. Guess where well, we all know their cat haven, the cat tree, scratchy thing, is in the middle of their lounge room where 2 dogs roam free, as if the cats can get there. We've never seen the cats hang out there. The cats are always on the table away from the dogs. But yeah, they lock them in rooms. Like, another live I want to go back over that I made a video about was when their furnace went out, and they didn't notice until 6 p.m. When Katie came downstairs and it was so freezing cold. But she couldn't go, she couldn't get in a car and go and buy a heater or anything. No, she was too drunk. So was Toad. So they just drank all night, sitting down there in front of the oven that was open, even though the cats can climb on the bench to get in there. I mean, it was all alcoholic. Like, it reminded me of just when you're in your 20s and you're drunk and you're not thinking, you're just doing shit in the spare of the moment, not. We've got to the end of the stream and I'm so mad at my mind that I can't form a sentence. Hopefully I'm throwing out enough keywords that you guys can finish it for yourself. It's what Katie does to me. But we have made it to the end and I appreciate you guys rocking up and being here. I mean, this is the one that had all the info. Didn't I say ages ago that I was not going to watch the beginning of any lives anymore and we were just going to be watching the ends? That's what we're going to do from now on. We're not going to be watching just the end. We want the end of the can, the second half of the beer. No one's there for the first when she's trying to be all nice. I'm just going to have a little scroll of chat. Sorry, guys. Oh, your dog takes trazodone? Oh, hang on. It jumped. Yeah. Well, Carrie, is that Carrie? Look, I need glasses. Why can't I read what that says? Carrie says, my poor dog takes trazodone, but I had no idea that's the same. Yeah, it's the exact same. And I had no idea either. Which I'm thinking, because trazodone, Katie says that's her happiness. Yeah, that word that came out of her mouth, that is druggy talk. She's held on. I reckon she even took maybe trazodone during her pregnancy. She's been taking it for decades, she said. Oh, it's, just like La Miguel said, scared of what really goes on in this house. I feel like we're only getting the tip of the iceberg, even though it's evil and it's bad. I reckon it's so much more worse. I mean, God, she makes him sleep in her bed. She makes her son sleep in her bed. And he's 14 this year. He's 14 this year. She thinks he's 13 this year, though. Oh, God. Okay, guys. Oh, can dogs take Benadryl? Oh, that's crazy. Oh, there needs to be something at the vets then, where they look up the owner's name and then it can, if they're red flagged for pill shopping, because I believe Katie pill shopped for her Adderall because her and Toad get it off the same doctor. That would never be allowed. She's also said her doctor said that she can drink on her meds, and if you get the Adderall printout thing, it says do not drink on these meds. So, Katie, you're a lot of red flags and not a lot of accountability or anything that you expect from other people. So, God, I'm glad we made it to the end, and I think I've said enough. And I appreciate you guys rocking up. Cactus high five to everyone in the Cactus chat. Oh, I'm just mad at YouTube. Every time I went to comment in chat, it would kick me out again. Maybe I've done something. Maybe I should, I don't know. But then I could only reply on my laptop, but then I'd be halfway through replying and I'd be like, oh my God, I should be listening to what she's saying. I should only reply when you stop talking, Katie. Okay, well, let's bring it back to something good before. Let's end on a good visual. Oh gosh. People like Katie, that's the reason women and, well, all victims of SA and R aren't believed. Her evil, like everything is a lie. Everything in her life is a lie. Katie, we are not jealous. Katie, everything in my life is the truth. I make people laugh for a living by telling my truth, like about mental illness, having anxiety. I'm not out here playing the victim. Maybe because my mum, never let me know that I was behind the world. My mum never played into that victim mentality that you love. You're like, I can get attention with my son. The most attention I've ever got in my life. I'll be a mum vlogger. But that didn't really go anywhere, did it? I'll be an advocate for victims and I'll monetize their videos. Right, Katie? Yeah. Okay. See you, Katie. Oh, Katie, one more thing. No one believes you from this moment on and 4 years ago and every time you've been on YouTube. Every time you open your eye and you lie or open your mouth and you lie, just know that we know that that's a lie. Have a good day, Katie. But yeah, Cactus crew, take care. Give this video a like, share it, comment below. Consider subscribing. Come and join the Cactus crew. We're making our way through. We're finished this now. I think on Friday we'll go over some other, I don't know. I might do the dogs. I'm not sure. I'll do a poll or something on my community board. But yeah, make sure you check out the community board. There's a few posts on there. And I think did I post something on Twitter? That's why I might have been late. I think I did I posted a new thread or something with V. But anyway, there's a lot. Take care, guys. And yeah, really do. Take care. Never become anything like Katie. God, please. See you guys.